I asked for your best ever Football Manager saves so I could rate them, and you replied in numbers, starting with Damo Rice. I think this is my most successful save in my years playing this game. Won 5 champions back-to-back with Hammer BTFF in Sweden. I did this challenge specifically trying to have the best Swedish talent combined with Mexican Wonder Kids, where I'm from. That's a cool idea, honestly, I love that concept. And trying to climb the Hall of Fame, still haven't gotten to first. Honestly, I don't even know how I was able to get it back-to-back. I think part of the success was keeping my best players regardless of them getting mad and not letting them move to bigger clubs. I don't really know. Okay, I think they're talking about Champions League here because we've got a lot of consecutive titles in Sweden. So the way we can see that is we go to history, competitions. That's 5 straight Champions League. That's insane. Oh, but they lost it. Oh, no. They lost the 5 straight. Honestly, that's probably why you're sitting there going, wow, I don't know how I won 5 straight, because you're able to reflect on the run that you were on. 5 straight Champions League wins and the team is finally falling apart. You know what where is Sweden in the coefficient ranking right now? That's what I want to know. Bro, number 1. I mean, look, if you win 5 Champions Leagues, I'm okay calling you the biggest and best club in the world. That is 100% on. Nation club coefficients. Only 8th. So even if you win the Champions League 5 years in a row, you can't catch the Netherlands and Portugal. Ahead of everybody else, the Turkish League, Danish League, Austria, Scotland, Ukraine, Greece, Switzerland, Czech Republic. But Portugal, Netherlands, the Big 5 still haven't caught him with 5 Champions Leagues. And they're not projected to either. But that does mean that Sweden is now one of the 10 nations that sends one team directly into the Champions League stage. So at least you don't have to qualify anymore. And you get 2 teams in the Champions League, so you're probably able to build the nation a little bit. Let's look at that squad composition, because that was maybe the most impressive part of this save. Bro, I didn't know it was filtered for U19s. I was confused. All right, let's take a look at the nationalities. So we do have a good contingent of Mexicans. There's 5 of them, and a couple of them are very good. We've got Yulito, who's a right back, who's got just everything you want juiced into defense and athleticism. Absolutely nobody's getting by this guy. And you also have Zeki. This dude is a world-class winger, bona fide world-class winger. And another regular starter and a guy named Hugo, who looks pretty good at a world-class level. And then you see his jumping reach is 19, and all of a sudden he becomes a weapon of mass set-piece destruction. 200 million in the bank, transfer budget, everything you could possibly want, and a large contingent of Swedish players, but it only looks like 2 relevant first-team Swedes. This dude, Soderstedt, who honestly, compared to the other guys in your team's not that great, and Andreas Svensson, a left back and left wing. Both of them left-sided players. Well, obviously, he's a great player, but he's probably not, the best left back in the world or anywhere close. But look, 5 straight Champions Leagues out of the Swedish League is 5 straight Champions Leagues out of the Swedish League. That's crazy. But you have this set goal to develop Swedish and Mexican talent, and I feel like you might have strayed a little too far from that in order to chase the glory, right? And I'm going to punish you for it with the rating, because I'm going to end up going 8 out of 10. Even though you've had a fabulous run in competitions, the Swedes in particular need a few more Swedish stars in this team, brother. And also, rocking a 4-2-3-1, so minus ½ point for lack of individuality. Just because this is an entirely biased process and I can do whatever I want. Next, we have James Kenneborough, who says, good afternoon, or maybe morning, Mr. Shannon. You're wrong, it's the middle of the night, actually. Good evening. What I would like to share with you today is my race around the world. From Australia to winning the Copa Libertadores, with having to win a domestic trophy in each nation I managed in before having to move on to another nearby nation in the base game. If I'm understanding that right, that is absolutely sick. They did say the editor is on, but it was used to fix Brazilian kits. Fair enough. We have a question as part of this thing that says, did you use the editor? And if you did, what did you use it for? So that's why that part is there. But it sounds like we're just starting in Australia and then just migrating our way over to Brazil to win the Copa Libertadores, which is going to lean into the strength of every gamer. Geography. For those that don't know, it is my strength. And if you ever meet me in real life and you walk up to me with any flag of any nation recognized by the UN, I'll be able to tell you what that nation is. It's a really useless talent. So I'm trying to find a use for it really right now. Okay, he doesn't have a job. We just loaded into the save. No job for James Kenneborough right now. Just resigned. So we must have just hit the end of the save. Okay, this is a lot. I don't know if this was very direct. What are we going like clockwise here? So we go from Melbourne City, first season, wins a competition right here, the Australian Cup. then to Indonesia, from the second division to the first division. Then we get a move to Japan, which like we're not really moving towards Brazil. Maybe the other way. Maybe I'm just not wrapping my mind around the concept. Maybe this is just a trip around the world. So I managed in Japan, win a trophy with Nagano Persero, then to Spartak Moscow, then Galatasaray, so we're down, then Spartak Plovdiv. So I've jumped to Bulgaria, and then Serbia, and then Croatia. Okay, I'm getting it now. Then Croatia, then Italy, with Bologna, won a couple of trophies, won a trophy, won the Coppa Italia. Hell yeah! Rather impressively, I think had to win a trophy at each club seems to be the rule here, because winning a trophy at every single one of these clubs is pretty sick. Then Lyon, and then clearly at this point, James's prestige is through the roof here. Gets the job at Real Madrid, runs up 3 trophies, the Copa del Rey, La Liga, and the Super Cup. Then to Portugal, all right. Then to LA Galaxy. So we've just skipped the whole US, but I get that. And then we go down to Atlas Guadalajara. So we're headed to Mexico there. Win 2 trophies in Mexico. Both halves of the league. That's nice. Then Colombia with Junior FC. And then in 2044, James Kennebra gets to Atletico Mineiro in the Brazilian league. And after 1 season, that's the only club he didn't win a trophy with. He leaves because he can get the Palmeiras job, and then he wins the Copa Libertadores. Okay, at the start of this, I was wondering what the hell I was reading. By the time I got to the end of it, I'm emotionally moved. I mean, what a journey. What a random thing to have dedicated yourself to be able to complete. I'm going to go 9 out of 10. You landed at Atletico Mineiro, and you didn't win a trophy. It's the only club you managed in this entire save. You want a 10 out of 10? You got to get back in this save file, go back to Atletico Mineiro, and go win a trophy for them. I know that wasn't even the point of the save, but you just had such an amazing streak going. I can't even imagine how often you were sitting in job interviews and had those people looking at you going, well, I see you resigned from your last job. Now it's not going to be a concern now, is it? But 9 out of 10 for James Kennebra for audacity and dedication. Next! How are you doing? Nice. I managed to get a wildly terrible St. Albans team into the Prem with back-to-back promotions. I think I said 1, 2... I said the right number of backs. Okay. From the Vanarama National. Won the championship with a squad wage budget lower than over 10 different individual players in the league. Despite my efforts, my team was as terrible in the Prem as you would expect, and I was sacked on Christmas Day. Surely that's a hate crime, right? I'm currently at Augsburg, waiting until St. Albans sacks their manager and let me back in, given that I'm a club legend. Okay, this sounds insane. So you're telling me you are managing Augsburg just as a stopgap so you can go back to St. Albans and finish the job? So we've got Vanarama National League South, then we have 4 seasons in the National League until they come up and actually win the National League, and then it's League 2, League 1, Championship, won every single one of them, which is very hard to do. Keep that kind of momentum going. And then this is criminal. This is criminal. This is a crime. I mean, look at that graph for St. Albans City. And the sad thing is I'm looking at them right now. They're 15th in the championship. They need their magic man back at the helm. They're getting Premier League parachute payments, and they don't know what to do with them. So this is January 1st. So you've been at Augsburg for 6 months. I mean, is the job even insecure? Unfortunately, it looks like you're going to be waiting a while because Dave Robertson is still secure in his job. And you've left a rich club that is secure in where it is in the bottom half of the championship. This would be infuriating because it doesn't look like you're going to get your job back anytime soon. Look, this is an intervention. You have done enough. You should have never been fired. You deserve the opportunity to finish this job. I respect the dedication it takes to go and manage Augsburg, but it's not like you're having a great season there either. You're hanging out in 15th after 16 games. Your magic touch is gone because you're no longer managing St. Albans. You need to dust this save off and find a way to get yourself back to St. Albans. If you have the editor on, which you do, I wouldn't be opposed to you just putting yourself back in charge at St. Albans, because we all know that in real life, this manager's never getting fired. You just got 4 consecutive promotions. And I, as well as everybody else watching this video, wants to see you succeed. I want you to finish this story. And the quadruple promotion is an incredible accomplishment. That combined with your dedication means this save is going to get an 8. But if you can end up back at St. Albans, and I wouldn't even blame you for using illicit means to get yourself back at St. Albans, and you go on and win Champions Leagues with them, it is one of the greatest sporting stories ever told. A man at a club. I'm offended this job is still stable. They got relegated and they're in 15th. But yeah, if your highest paid player is Teo Corbanu, then that team wasn't ready for the Prem, brother. Next time you get promoted, loans and installments. Because if you can stay in the Prem, you'll be able to pay off those installments easily. Watch my first summer transfer window before the Premier League with Taunton Town when I did a quick rise in the English leagues. That's how you're going to be able to survive. Next, we have Pale Ginger with Gwingam. For the first time ever, I've managed to complete a full season unbeaten in all competitions. I started the save with Gwingam in League 2 as a 5 at the back challenge, and I've only ever played 4 at the back. Okay. What emerged was learning curve and how to best utilize such tactics in FM, and after experimenting, I landed in a 3-4-3. So now we have a 5 at the back tactic that you were going for. Then you said you were only playing 4 at the back, and now it's a 3-4-3 with double liberos and double attacking midfielders. You have me back. This tactic was incredible for me in my final season. I didn't lose a single game and only drew 3 games. League, 33 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. It's my finest ever FM accomplishment, and Jefferson Louise is my best ever player. I used the editor twice early in the save for the dynamics bug where a player was stuck waiting for a non-existent promise to be fulfilled. Same thing you experienced with Tottenham. This is true. I did. There is a bug in FM24 where if things happen in the exact right order, you can end up with a player that has a promise that is not jokingly impossible to satisfy, that gets satisfied, but then they don't react like it's satisfied. And those sorts of bugs are why I recommend that you play with the editor on if you can resist the urge to actually ruin your save. So let's take a look at the club info here. Oh, this is an interesting charge. Okay. First season promoted in first. Second season finishes second in the entire league, then 4th, then 3rd, then 2nd, and then finally becomes the big bad bully. That is the journey to overthrow PSG in a nutshell right there. This is that first season in the top flight. They got 64 points in their first top flight season, which is good. PSG got 96 points. They finished second and were 32 points off the top of the league. PSG also went unbeaten in that season with 31 wins. It takes a lot to be able to push through that, especially considering they got 7 more points the next year and then finished in 4th. More points the season after that, and the 3rd place finish up to 73. And then the year after that, where they finished in 2nd, only 3 points off PSG. And for the first time, we see Gwingam actually pick up a league win against PSG at home, and that was the exorcism. It was a year where PSG fell apart and Gwingam won the league with 78 points and didn't beat PSG. Who needs it? Bro, PSG melted. You broke PSG. This Gwingam team beat PSG by 26 points in their second title season. In the year before their miraculous unbeaten performance, they got pushed all the way to the limit by Nice. And PSG, kind of. A ridiculous 3-team race where they only dropped points in 3 matches and still only won the league by 3 points. Check out the plus 108 goal difference in 34 matches. This Gwingam team is a buzzsaw. Literally just lost the away matches against the 2 other teams they're racing the title for. And a random draw at Le Havre. I can imagine how frustrating that match was. And there it is. 100 points in a 34-match season. There is a max total of 102 points possible in a 34-match season, and Gwingam engineered the Centurion performance, won the league by 20 points. PSG, after losing the league title, only managed to finish second once. That in itself is kind of insane. It's also insane that the goal difference in this season was 13 goals worse, but only 14 goals allowed in 34 matches is a ridiculous level of defensive solidity. Just preposterous. And I got to see this tactic. That's the, oh yeah. So I'm guessing you say double liberos, you're talking about these guys right here. So you basically end up with a sweeper. This is a throwback. And I guess it is a 5 at the back. So we're, even though it's a 3-4-3 technically, it is a 5 at the back tactic. Normally I hate to leave this space in between the lines when I have a 5 at the back tactic, but if you use 1 or I'm guessing 2 liberos when you're in this situation on defend, they're basically working as stoppers off that back line that are filling that space up, not allowing traditional number 10s, false 9s, deep lying forwards to fill that space and make you react to it. You're already there. This is also a tactic that doesn't use wingers. I love those types of tactics because wingers are most often the least skilled players you have. Now, everybody knows pace is super overpowered, so if you can get really fast ones, that's great. But interior players are often way more technically and mentally skilled than exterior players. You can find the ones that are athletic enough, then you have more well-rounded players. I used this principle for a tactic I made a couple of years ago, and it worked really well. This tactic has 2 outside players instead of 4, creates incredibly weird runs with this 4-man box you're gonna get with Okayama, Cornelius, Jefferson, Louise, and Anton. And then, of course, these guys are providing the outside. Deep lying forward hangs out right here. And then you have 2 liberos that make a triangle with their own center back partner in the back. Not bad. Best player ever, you say? Yeah, I can see it. A natural shadow striker who's basically just a world-class striker. Somebody even has 12 jumping reach at 5'10". Not a world-class passer, but definitely a world-class ball carrier, goal scorer, and mover. Signed for $24 million from Santos, and that is why you check for your Brazilian Wonder Kids. His lowest rated season, a 7.27, with the majority of seasons over a 7.5 rating. Okay. 2 Champions League wins back-to-back in 2032 and 2033, with 2 Coupe de France wins in 2031 and 2034. So not dominating the other cup competitions, but definitely put a couple in the pocket. This is just a classic, I built a great team type save, but you managed to do it with a very unique tactic and pull off one of those memorable type seasons where you don't lose a competitive match all year. And for that, 9 out of 10. Freaking awesome save, dude. Next, we have 2 Henry, who's managing HSV. This is my first real successful save. Not the greatest save ever, but it was pretty awesome for me, especially since I won the Bundesliga in my second season in the Bundesliga after winning the Zweite Bundesliga by a ton of points. And in my third season, I'm currently 7 points up with 12 to play, with about a quarter of the salary. I'm going to be honest, something heartwarming about hearing those sorts of sentences where, you know, it's a great save for me. It's like, no, brother, this is just a good save. You got promoted in your first season. Well, let's go check that out. You're doing a classic restore a big club to glory. You weren't kidding. Only 3 losses in 34 matches to win the league with 85 points. Look at the goal differences, by the way. You had a 49 plus advantage over anybody else in the league in goal difference. That is absurd. You will almost never see that. Oh, and the way you won the league. Oh my goodness. Won the league in a 3-way points tie at the top. That is absolutely, I have to see how this happened. I have to see how it happened. You drew Cologne and then beat Mainz. They scored in the 92nd minute. I would imagine you were absolutely losing your mind. If we look at the other results, oh, Bayern lost. Bayern lost to Leipzig. So you're sitting there freaking out because Bayern Munich, the team that you're chasing, the team you never think is going to catch, is losing on the final day to Leipzig. You're winning, and then you win the league that way. I mean, that's magic. That's just football manager magic. We've got a 4-2-3-1, but I'm clicking around it, and I can see that you've made some kind of player-specific player instructions. This isn't just, you know, copy and paste of the meta. This is your own thing, and you've made it your own thing. You even have somebody with ease off tackles, which is, you know, indicative of really sitting there and breaking stuff down, because there's not any super high tested tactic that's going to give you an ease off tackle instruction. I love this. This just screams, you know, the way it was written and everything, this just screams that magic first save that ends up ruining your life because it gets you hooked on Football Manager forever. That's what we're looking at right here. What's crazy is you're doing this without Wonder Kids. Like, it's clear that you're new enough to Football Manager that you're not just bagging all of the Wonder Kids you can find. I mean, you did just get a Wonder Kid in your youth intake, but he's not anything special. I mean, you're talking about a team that is top of the Bundesliga right now with Akram Afif, the Qatari international, playing on left wing. This is just awesome. This is so cool to see. Your tactic is ripping. Your team's playing super well together. You've signed players that fit into it. Even after winning the league last year, you're projected 50-1 to win the league again. Boy, I would have put money on that, dude. I mean, just looking around your team, you've caught one of those magic runs. You've caught lightning in a bottle. And just because this feels almost nostalgic to me, 10 out of 10. This is what it's all about. Some of that inexplainable stuff in the black box of Football Manager that's spitting out a particularly magic run and a loss for Bayern Munich on the final day and a trophy that you will literally remember forever. Congratulations to you. Next, from Tartan Hero. This was a save I once upon a time submitted for SYS. However, there were so many other saves from other people that you ran out of time. I, however, gritted my teeth and got back to work. I hauled September through the muck and mire all the way to a Champions League final 3 seasons later. The thing I am proudest of in this save was how natural the squad build felt and still tried to maintain some balance in growing homegrown players where we could. So many of the best players on the best teams in the world came to September and moved on to what they would see as bigger and better things. Andre Ljubic was probably the best player I've ever had in any save. Every season's sales list of players of immense quality, and we overcame the odds to win it all. First of all, a lot of determination and willingness to try to overcome adversity. We love to see that because taking the easy way out's a really obvious option on Football Manager a lot of the time. But for me, the joy is in the struggle. I am a glutton for punishment, a glutton for pain. And when you overcome that, when you show up the next season and then achieve your goal, that's wonderful. I mean, even on my recent Twitch stream, I took a pretty solid shot to the jaw in a league title race that we blew on the final day of the season, but I dust myself off, cry myself to sleep, and then get down to business. But you're managing September Sedbury, and you have been doing the I win the league blindfolded with my hands tied behind my back hole shtick for a while. Your key player is a Ukrainian guy named Oleg Kanov, and let me tell you, that is definitely the type of player you see on Champions League competing teams right there. He's kind of like a world-class pressing forward. And that he doesn't have crazy technical skills or physical skills, but mentally he brings it at such a high level. And that strength is sneaky important. But you're saying your transfers are crazy. What is this name? Oh my God, look at how good that guy is. You sold him a couple years ago for not unbelievable money. I mean, 69 million? Nice. Ingvi Arses Stromgirde. Like that might have been closer than I had any reasonable expectation to be. Basically just the next Erling Haaland, it seems like. And then there's this Biafroed individual, Andre Ljubic, that you brought up in your actual message. And I don't know if I've ever seen such a good Holy Trinity combined with crossing. That is devastating. I mean, this person can be a world-class center forward and a world-class winger that's teeing up another world-class center forward. Also, personality, model professional, shut up. I agree. I've never had a wonder kid that looked like this before. But your business is great. You signed him for $5.75 million. He plays super well for a couple of seasons. Sell him to Barcelona for $114 million. And that was a long time ago. I imagine you sent it in to save your saves because you were struggling to break through. But I am proud of you for being able to push through that wall, because a lot of people that send their saves into the Save Your Saves series complaining that they're struggling to break through in the Champions League just need to keep doing what they're doing for a couple more seasons and they will see that breakthrough. And that is exactly what you did. Oh, and it was in penalties. And it was against Andre Ljubic. You won the Champions League in penalties against the guy you sold to Barcelona 6 years ago. The guy you sold that ripped your heart out. And he scored against you. And you were down 2-0 in the final. Just an incredibly dramatic way to actually get the job done. And to do it getting out XG'd in penalties. Oleg Kanov, top scorer of the Champions League. Look at the average age of this team. 2019, 21, 24, 2019. Large section of Bulgarians on the team, including a regular starter named Hristo Alexandrov. So yeah, there's a lot of things to like here. But also, we've seen these saves where people are winning the Champions League 5 straight times out of Sweden. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 7 out of 10. No way I could possibly give it a bad rating because of the determination on display in winning the Champions League out of Bulgaria. Everybody that's on this list is sending in the save they're most proud of ever, and they deserve to be proud of it. We're rating, but we're also spreading exclusively good vibes. Next! This is from Moist420, which nice edgelord name there. So this was a journeyman save I did. I don't really like doing transfers and scouting and contracts, so I just leave all of that to the director of football. What? What? That's crazy, dude. I started in Malacca 2nd Division, Malaysia. Harini and Turangunu before both in first Malaysian division. Okay, I just can't read. Moved to Paletnica Lassi in the Romanian league. Won that. Got the job from Fiorentina. Won them Serie A. Got sacked. Dude, this is an adventure. I can hardly keep up. Okay, so you're not doing any transfers. You just like making tactics based off what you get, which is sick. I love FM because there's so many different people that like to play it so many different ways. My favorite thing is team building and you hate it. That's cool. Also, the fact that you got sacked in a save and kept playing it to the point that it is submitted for this. So many people, me included every once in a while, you get sacked in a save and you're just, that's it. You don't want to play the save anymore. Next year, moved to Brighton, spent 8 years, won everything, 3 Champions Leagues in a row, except the league, which I missed by goal difference. Moved to AC Milan, won 5 Serie A in a row with 2 Champions Leagues. That's it for the save that got corrupted. My corrupted file had 5 years at Liverpool, where I won the league and Champions League and Europa League, and then moved to Real Madrid, where I won 1 league and 1 Champions League. All right, in the save file, and let's check out these tactics. All right, it's a 4-3-3, not an overly aggressive 4-3-3. We got a deep lying playmaker on the front line of the midfield here. We got an inverted fullback on the left side, and yet it has managed to produce a couple of winning seasons in a row. We're in 2043, by the way, so this has been on the rip for a while. And there is the job history. That's a trophy every year with Brighton. Do you know how hard it is to win a trophy every year and never win the Premier League? I mean, seriously, what was happening here? This is their first year with Brighton. They finished 12th, but win the FA Cup. Then 8th, then 6th, then 4th, then 4th, then 2nd, losing on 8 goal difference to Manchester City, then 3rd, and then 6th. But you know why that's actually amazing performance? They're not signing any players. Who else forgot that when we're looking at those tables and thinking this is like any other save? They are not signing any other players. They have staff responsibilities for all transfers with the director of football, the general manager. They're not doing any of it. This is all just based off their ability to take the players that Brighton has and then go compete. And they won 3 Champions League titles. This tactic in those knockout situations, or whatever you happen to be using at the time, is crazy. Kind of hope it was this. Nice. There's also going to be something exciting about not handling your own transfer business. You get really sad when one of the players you love has been sold, but you also get really excited when all of a sudden the team decides to splash cash and bring in a guy like Jose Antonio Donoso. You're reading the news like maybe a normal manager would, or like a fan of the club would say, hey, that dude's gonna be pretty good. I'd love to have him on my team. No, but this run, particularly how quickly you were able to get out of the Malaysian 3rd division and get to a Champions League winning position without signing a player, that is special. That is spectacular. It's insane. If you're signing players, you can, build teams, find amazing players, bring them with you, do all sorts of crazy stuff. But if you were doing this, you just get to the club, lay out the team the way it is presented to you in the best way possible. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more fun this type of save seems like it would be. And you, I believe, have made it look way easier than the average person, including me, would be able to. I'm blown away at this journey, and I'm going 10 out of 10. New hard save unlocked, or hard except for this person. But thank you guys. We got a ton of submissions for this, and I'm sorry we're not able to get to all of them, but we're going to do more of these in the future, so I hope to see your fabulous saves there. And if you want to see me rating other fabulous saves, you can check that video out. It's a never-ending line of amazing, mind-blowing Football Manager accomplishments. Perfect for procrastinating from whatever you're supposed to be doing.